September Virtual Homeowner Maintenance event. We are out here in Westbridge, one of our new communities. We've got some construction noise in the background, so we'll go ahead and talk nice and loud for you. We've got our 5-star Mark here who's going to help us with this month's Virtual Homeowner Maintenance. We'll be helping you get prepped for winter, give you some suggestions on dormant grass as it turns dormant now that irrigation's turned off. And don't forget to ask your questions, because at the end of this video, once the video is all closed out, we will take those questions and answers. And then following the video today, any homeowner that commented will be added in for the chance to win a $50 Home Depot gift card. So make sure you post your questions, give us suggestions on future homeowner maintenance items and questions that you have. And I will pass this over to Mr. 5-star Mark.
Well, thank you, Taylor. Appreciate it very much. Very nice introduction. Boy, I haven't heard something like that since a eulogy for me. So here we are, Wednesday, and we're getting ready for our, fall time. It happens. Trees start turning colors. We got to start prepping the yards. We got to start prepping our vegetation, all that good stuff for the issue of summer, or excuse me, winter. With that being said, it's my understanding, I myself personally, my wife and I, we do not have irrigated water for our home. So we're actually using street, meridian water, for our sprinkler system. So we don't have the luxury of that nice issue of the runoff or the issue of irrigated water. So we're kind of stuck in that situation. We pay extra, unfortunately, but that's the way it is. Well, if water is being shut off, the first thing you want to do is obviously, we still got to take care of the yards. It's going to be, I think, about 85 today, but the nights get so much cooler. So you can really, get by with the issue of doing some hand watering. Now, what do I mean by hand watering is very simple. I personally will come out at different times and hit what is referred to as a hot spot in the yard. And this is what I refer to as hand watering. So with that being said, I'm not adding a sprinkler out there, turn it on, walk away for 2 hours. That's a taboo thing. You can't be doing those types of things. You need to check with each city, municipality on the issue of, can I do watering during this time period with no irrigation water? Please check with them. Resources are getting tighter and tighter all the time. You got to make that call, okay? Don't go by my experience. Don't go by what I said is supposed to be the gospel and this type of thing. Obviously, these municipalities have the final call on that. So give them a quick ring. They'll be more than happy to help you out, no question. So, how do we prep for the winter? Well, this is a gorgeous yard. And what I like about it, obviously it's new. The grass is actually a nice length. And when you want your yard to basically be ready for winter months, we want a little longer in length to therefore hold that moisture in place. We want to have it protect itself, okay? So this is a great length. A lot of people I know, they want that, what do I want to say, the greens aspect of their yard. In other words, a putting green. No, I really don't want to go there with you folks on that. If you cut it too short, we get, let's say, a hot spot during the end of the month of September, which has happened, you're going to do some serious damage to your yard. So let's keep these a little longer, whenever possible, okay? So dealing with that. Now, with the issue of the grass and the plants, here we go. Yes, I made my little run this morning to the orange store. And I picked up some different items at hand. You've seen some of these before. Garden feeds, definitely, they will have their advantages. They come in with a canister. You stick in a particular pellets or something of this nature. You hook your hose up and you start spraying, and it breaks down the nutrients in there, and you spray your plants. You're good to go. Same thing with Miracle Grow. It's the same concept, just a different name. So if you have a personal preference, obviously stay with it, okay? Me personally, my wife and I, And if it deals with my wife, I always say the basic issue of, yes, dear, we're going to go with that. So, we happen to have that Zamzows program, but I don't do exactly what Zamzows does. So they want us fertilizing 4 times a year. Well, in between each one of those applications, I do another application. So I'm actually, the old rule of thumb, more fertilizer, less water. There is 0 nutrients in the clay, or meaning Class C soil. It just isn't there at this point, okay? So you're actually have to build in those nutrients. How do I do it? Very simple. Well, I'm using Thrive, which I mixed up already in the bucket. And I'm going to add that to the specific each particular shrub, okay? So you can read the ingredients, you can read the mixing, all the aspects on here. I went 1 cup to 1 gallon of water, okay? So I'm all mixed up. Turn around, meaning the fluid is mixed up, not me. Maybe later on I could be, okay? And I'm just pouring this on, okay? Go to the next one, down the line. Go to the next one. Okay? And I'll work my way all the way around the entire yard. Okay? Now I notice one over here is pretty pinkish a little bit, kind of tough to deal with. So I'm going to go over there and really hit that one. We don't want to lose a plant. So I'm going to hit this guy. He's kind of hurting there a little bit, so we want to make sure he didn't get any, has something to build upon. So do that. This is basically mid-September. We got a lot of traffic here. If in turn we still have a very mild issue of October, I would do this same process again. The plants need nutrients just like you or I. So please be aware of that. Okay, got a little bit left. I'm going to hit this little shrubby here. And we're good to go. When you're done with your bucket, obviously rinse that out. You never know what you'll be using that bucket for next time. Next issue. Grass. Like I said, my wife and I, we have a Zamzows program, and they give us 4 applications a year, which is great. And I think we are charged $125. They will let you use a spreader, which is fantastic. Apply the application, you just take the spreader back to them, everybody's happy. You don't have to spend like $60 for a spreader because you only use it maybe once or twice a year. Obviously, if you're here full time, you're going to be using it multiple times, meaning 4 or 5 times a year. Okay? So, this is specifically fall, weed, and feed for the fall. Yes, it's that time of the year. You want to start applying. This is a very, very fine granule. So if I open this up, and you're going to see exactly what I mean on this, it's not like a heavy pellet. It's a very, very fine applicant, okay? Very, very fine. So it's obviously the process of less is more, okay? All your application issues are right on the back. If you happen to have a broadcast spreader or just a plain drop, it's all right here for you. I'm not trying to be a salesman for Scott's. It's what I happened to see this morning at 7 a.m. when I was in Home Depot, okay? So this was, I think, $27 a bag. Square footage wise, I couldn't tell you right offhand how much it covers, but I'm sure it will tell us somewhere. So 5,000 square feet, 5,000 square feet. Taylor just told me that. She's giving me these hand signals in the back, okay? Well, no, not that hand signal. No, I don't want, okay. 5,000 square feet, this happens to cover, fantastic. You should be good to go with no problem. If you have new sod, it's imperative that you give this sod something as a nutrient for the winter months. It will go dormant. It will start changing color. Yes, no question about that. If you see that color way too soon, it's starving, okay? You need to give it some nutrients, okay? So please be aware of that. You really need to get that in place. Watering, like I say, irrigation dishes are going dry. They're cutting it down, no question. This has been a very, very hot summer. Those natural resources are getting depleted very quickly. Am I saying we're all gonna, die of thirst? Absolutely not. What I'm saying is we want to be obviously a whole lot more careful now during this time. So please be aware of that. If you are doing hand watering, make sure you call those cities and find out their particular guidelines of what they want done or seen done for the issue of watering your grass or shrubs or whatever the case may be. I personally, my own personal opinion, I think you could stand out there like I was doing in the very beginning and just simply doing some hand watering. I don't think you will have an issue there. If you set a sprinkler out there and let it run for 2 hours, you will hear some sort of issues of complaints. There's no question in my mind. You are wasting that very precious natural resource. Okay? So I think we got the fertilizer, the water thing taken care of. Now, one last topic. This is important. All the homes, I'll check that. Not every single home has a sprinkler system. The majority of the homes have sprinkler systems. You're in a subdivision just like this one, okay? With that being said, I know you get these great little meetings, we got the, we're all gathering at the such and such place to have their traditional quarterly meeting about our subdivision. I made a recommendation one time, hey, why don't we all get together and contact one particular company that has a very reputable reputation that we can say, hey, can you give us a deal to blow out all these sprinklers on a particular day, such as a Saturday or Sunday, or even both days, depending on how big your subdivision is. If they can come in and do the entire subdivision and blow it out and say, hey, each home I'm going to charge you $25. If you talk to an independent firm where you're going to have, let's say, 7 different companies, well, obviously, I think those prices are going to be a whole lot more. You can have one person that can come in and do the entire subdivision, charge each homeowner. Remember, this is an independent responsibility on the homeowner to have this done. It is your responsibility to take care of that sprinkler system and getting it blown out. So please be aware of that. If you can arrange a situation, hey, we're going to charge you $25 and there's, let's say, 50 homes in your subdivision, well, they're making quite a bit of money, which is great, and you're actually getting it for a reduced cost. So take advantage of that if it works, okay? In other words, there's the ball. Let's see if you can run with it and take advantage of those pluses and minuses from that point. So I think I've covered most items. Remember, my old saying is, more fertilizer, less water. Let's leave that grass a little higher than needed. It'll help protect itself during those winter months. So, if you have questions, obviously bring them in. Well, I'll be trying my best to answer those out, and we'll go from there. Any questions, Taylor?
We have one question so far. Thank you very much for Stacy, who commented on our video. I know last month we tried to get some comments in. They didn't show up when we were actually doing the video, so I went and answered those after the fact. That's the same case for this video. I promise I will check into those after we're done here. But Stacy Hansen had a question. She's asking, will the sun burn the grass with fertilizer on it? So I think heat, those hot spots you were talking about, in addition to the fertilizer being added on top, is there any?
Yes, this is where I brought in the concept of doing some hand watering. So I'm going to put down, let's say, my fertilizer. Let's say I'm going to do it 8 o'clock at night or 7:30. Get done with dinner, the dishes are in the dishwasher, I'm going to do my thing. So I'm going to go out and lay out the fertilizer. Why am I doing it at 8, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night? Well, it's on the lawn, okay? I'm going to take advantage of the cool nights that we have in the Treasure Valley. Those cool nights create a morning dew. So we're going to use nature to help dissipate that mineral content of the fertilizer into the ground. If I need to, obviously, I'm going to go out there. Here we go. Follow me over. And I'm going to take my hose, and I'm just going to sit there and hand water this in. You notice that the granule content of what I was showing you was very, very small. So it will not take a lot to melt that down and go into the soil content of the sod. So that should be very, very easy to take care of. If you get a hot spot, obviously let's add a little bit more water in there. I am not setting out a sprinkler and letting it run for 2 hours. If I let it run in a particular area for, hey, 5 minutes, I don't see an issue with that. Again, check with your city councils and those types of things on that concern. Okay, good question. Any others?
We have 2 others, and I want to touch on this one real quick. So
Okay.
First question is, when should we have our sprinklers blown out, and who should do it?
Okay, the water is almost totally out of those irrigation dishes. The nice thing about, we have very mild winters the majority of the time, okay? I don't know if you've been around where I talk about, hey, you know, when do I close the vents on my house if I have a crawl space? And I always said, hey, at Thanksgiving time, hey, I need 15 minutes. All the guests are driving me crazy. So you walk outside for 20 minutes, you're going to go around and close those vents, and you have your sarsaparilla with you, and you're closing up. You got 15 minutes of fame right there for yourself and taking care of that problem. Well, that's at Thanksgiving time. So I would consider somewhere at the end of October and the beginning of November, we should be getting that done, okay? So that should take care of that.
As for specific contractors for the blowouts themselves, we don't have anybody that we contract with. So I would say do yourself some research on previous homes that were out there, that previous homeowners that have been out in the area for a while. Check in with them, see if they have any suggestions of who they have used in the past. Quick reminder, if you don't do your blowouts before the first freeze, there is a possibility that the water that's left in those lines is going to expand and cause those lines to break. That is why the customer care warranty department does not warranty the sprinkler system for a second season. So make sure that we go ahead and get those sprinklers blown out before that first freeze. That's the biggest ticket right there. Like Mark said, try and get a few homeowners in at the same time, group your neighbors together, anybody in the same community, to get everybody together, contact the same blowout folks, to maybe get a discount if you can get kind of a group deal going, and that should help alleviate some of those costs. So just to kind of wrap things up, that is the last question we had today so far. To wrap things up, we want to keep the lawn long so that that water stays in that grass for you. We want to prep the system, or prep your grass and your shrubs and everything for colder weather by using these fertilizers and giving them the nutrients that they'll need over the spring and summer, or over the winter time, and then get those systems blown out so that you can protect your system for that next upcoming season. If you have any questions for future virtual homeowner maintenance events, please give us a call at 208-953-2217. That is our customer care line. You can ask for us over there, give us an idea of any virtual homeowner maintenance ideas you have, or shoot an email to customercare@cvhhomes.com, and we'd be happy to field those for you. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next month.
Take care. Thank you, folks.